Taking care of biz. John Fetterman.
Ah, he's back.
I know. We just talked about him. And we've talked about him before in Taking Care of Biz because he's been very open about his journey with depression and his struggles with depression. And that was very inspiring to me, I think to other people, that he's been so open about it. And one thing that I really admire about John Fetterman is his ability to be human. I think we don't often see that in public figures. I think as a society, we kind of encourage people to hide that aspect. If you're going to get emotional, you're supposed to kind of push it down.
Yeah,
and
nonsense.
He really leans into it in a way that is very powerful. And there was a recent example of this at the Senate Special Committee on Aging, where he was specifically talking about struggles that people with disabilities face and how important it is to increase accessibility to technology, because that's particularly beneficial for him. And I thought this was a really profound moment.
Thank you for coming. And for me, it's been a very personal issue with me. And I'm going to show this, and then I'm going to describe this to others. This is my iPhone, and this is a transcription service that allows me to fully participate in this meeting and conversations with my children and interacting with my staff. I had a stroke about 18 months ago, and I have lost my ability to fully process language. And I like to think I was an empathetic person, truly. But until that happened, I've raised to a whole different kind of level as well. And it's profound to know now that I never really considered that without this kind of technology, I couldn't watch television. And I can't imagine if I didn't have this kind of a bridge to allow me to communicate with other people effectively. And because I live in a political environment, I was ridiculed and made fun of because I wasn't able to process things sometimes or say things. So I'm so sorry that I'm sure many of you had to go through this kind of thing. I was lucky that I was lucky enough to go through my life, the vast majority of that without this kind of disability that I have. But again, I can't imagine and how the challenges, and I admire everyone that has to kind of live with these kind of struggles and prevail over them. And the questions that I have is really more of an open-ended kind of question to everyone on the panel. How can we become more empathetic, more responsive, and more effective senators to provide the kind of support and services that anyone in these communities deserve to be a citizen here in our nation? Mr. Westbrook.
Yeah, I think it just takes political will and the will to become accessible. It takes making it a priority, and just deciding that it's going to be a priority, like Ronza was saying earlier, and on the same level as security and privacy and all that kind of stuff. Accessibility just needs to be another part of doing business, as I mentioned in my testimony this morning. We wouldn't think about building a building without putting in a ramp, to get into the building now. But now we need to think about building websites and digital technologies to make them more accessible.
Thank you.
So I want to say first that John Fetterman sounds great. Very.
It's an amazing transformation from those initial hit that debate performance that ended up making all the news and was pretty generally considered a disaster for him. He still won his election. I think the people of Pennsylvania understood what was at play here, but he for sure he's on the mend.
Yeah. It seems like his recovery is going very well. But this really, gets to what we talk about a lot and who we want in positions of power in this country. And I think it's important to have more people who not only have lived experiences in struggle, whatever that might be, but the ability to access your empathy and compassion, and to be unafraid, to be open about being emotional. Those are qualities that are very important that we should prop up in other people and that we should seek out in people that we give power to.
He's absolutely demonstrating what real courage is.
Yes.
Courage is not just putting on a brave face and being fake. He's being real.
Yes.
He's facing down real problems, real difficulties, real trials and tribulations with grace and with courage. And we need more. We need more John Fettermans. We really do.
Yeah. So look out for those people that are just kind of like political operators who are very robotic. And I mean, it's important to take into consideration their values and their policies that they support as well. But I think it's important to have people that are human beings as well in positions of power, and beware of who you reward with power.
Yes. Yeah.
We need to be more aware of that.
So good for you, John Fetterman. We appreciate you taking care of biz, without a doubt. We'd love to know what you think. 657-464-7609. Of course, you can email a voice memo right from your smartphone to idoubitit@dollemore.com. If you work for John Fetterman or you're John Fetterman watching this, we want you on the show.
We have a studio in D.C.
And you can wear a hoodie.
You can wear whatever you want.
The only thing I would say no to is if you got a hold of one of Susan Collins's bikinis, you can't wear that.
Yeah.
At the very least, it would be way too small because he's a giant. Anyway, we're going to leave you there. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Again, we want to remind you that we are a largely listener-supported program. If you want to help support the work we do, we'd love to invite you. Go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, and that is where you can pick your tiers, see what's involved, and help support and produce what we do here. We will see you next time on episode 887. For now, for Brittany Page, I'm Jesse Dollemore, and this has been I Doubt It.